Hoka hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of October the 13th, 2023. What other anime could Alita appear in, where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host of Muskogee Creek, and it looks like for right now it's me, although I do think Angelus is going to be on a little bit on a while here because this is his topic. So he needs to come on here and say that, although we can do it without him. And I would say hello, Savos, to all of my Deutsche friends out there, Freunde. So y'all have a good day out there in Deutschland. And hello out there to also David Alexandra in France, and looks like we got a few folks out there. So yeah, Takao, yeah. Yes. Or genau. So anyway, just to remind everybody about the Alita sequel petition, that is. Yeah, Finn, well, I'm alone right now, but that's okay, because I can talk about Alita all day, as we know. We have well over 178,000 signatures, and I think we've added about 10 or 11 since last week. So we're kind of plodding along now at a nice, easy clip. It's not it's still going. It's still it's still active. So we're wanting to show Disney that we want that sequel, as you guys all know. And, this is the way they can see it, by having all of these signatures. And if anybody ever tells you the Alita Army is not very large, refer them to this website right here. Over 178,000 strong. So we have a lot of people in the Alita Army. Also, we have a fundraiser going on. Yeah, that's right, Finn. Yeah, Dankeschön. But anyway, we have roughly a little over $2,000 or a little over $2,200 in the Hero Arm campaign, and this money is going to go to not only Bionic Arm, but we've even seen some benefit out of it so far. In that we flew that plane around Disney headquarters, and of course they saw it. And we're probably going to do that again sometime. Now, 22,000 is not all the money the Elite Army has. We have almost right around 3,600, I think, or 3,600. So anyway, so we got a little extra in there that could help us do some things. But the bottom line is here, I guess, is that we definitely want to help out someone in need. Get them a bionic hand. And if they need one, and this is a really good campaign that we do. This is the third one I think we've done, and Tilly Lockie's behind us on this one too. So if no amount's too small, if it's only $1 or €1 or £1 or £1 whatever it is, if you can donate. If you can't, then when you see this post come out, on social media, just repost it and let folks know that we're trying to raise money for a very good cause. By the way, if anybody wants to come on, they want to come on the let me put the link in the chat again. Just click on that, and this is the link. So, click on that and we'll bring you into the stream. And, we can talk about Alita. If you only want to come on and say, I love Alita, or I don't know how to say that in French, David. So, I know how to say it in German. It's Ich liebe Alita. If you want to come on, just say that. You can do that, or you can come on, stay on. That's cool. We do it either way. And looks like X-Man's been following it. The Open Bionics, I guess, websites or the social media. So that's cool. And we just had Angelus join us.
Yeah, it took a while to decide what Rosa picture to use for today's stream.
Oh, that's okay.
Hello.
Hey, Chaos Nova from Mentor, Ohio. And of course, Angelus, we know, is from Brisbane and Queensland, Australia. So welcome, you guys. So it looks like we got an Aussie contingent and we got an American contingent here. Okay, how's everything going down under there, Angelus?
Quite swimmingly.
Cool.
We've been feasting. We'll have quite a feast to for the news tomorrow because more of the same came out. I will say that much.
Yeah.
So the content of the articles are pretty much the same as last week, but just more of it. It's like you know, you just get like boxes upon boxes upon boxes of milk chocolate, and like, hey, Alita's not going to complain, so neither are we.
That's right. Well, she certainly wouldn't complain over having chocolate, would she? That's for sure. So anyway, how are things in Mentor, Ohio there, Chaos?
Is it chaotic?
It's chaotic because I think he's muted, or he might have stepped away because he has his family is right there with him, I think, most of the time. So he has to step away from time to time. So anyway, I just told folks about the Alita sequel petition and, of course, the Hero Arm campaign. Both of these links are in the chat, and there's also, I believe, a tip jar in the chat itself, I think. No. Oh, yes, there is. There's a tip jar in there. So if you don't want to, click on that and go through the, whatever hassle you might think you're going to do there, then of course you can go to the tip jar and just click on which, what amount you would like to donate. So it's probably a little bit easier, I guess, but I think they're both pretty easy. So give what you can, and if you can't, just let folks know about it. Okay, right on into the main topic here. And of course, this is one Angelus came up with because we had such fun the last week, I guess, on the stream, that we thought, well, hey, this would be a pretty neat kind of way to segue into that, because Alita does have an anime, as we all know. It's called Rusty Angel, and there's a lot that's in this particular anime. It came out in '93, I think it did. And there's a lot of it that parallels, pretty closely to the movie. You can see on the left there, that's where Ito had rebuilt Alita, and we saw that scene at the beginning where he rebuilt her. And on the right, you see where in that particular scene there, she's actually fighting. Oh gosh, what was his name?
Clive Lee.
Yeah, Clive Lee of the White Hot
in the film.
Yeah, that's right. Because he only has a small part in the film, but in the movie, but in the anime, he's got a little bit bigger part, and he's fighting her, and that's where they get that thing where those blades are poking, they're trying to impale her with those blades. Of course, Nisiana was doing it, in the movie, but here it's Clive Lee of the White Hot Palm. So anyway, but Alita does have an anime, so that makes it this work really well, because I mean, she is I won't say cartoon character, but an anime character. Yes, Angelus, I think you probably can write some German, can't you? Or do you?
Just
Yeah, just some. Yeah, but he says pineapple on pizza. We're going back into that thing, I guess. So yeah, I like pineapple on pizza. It's okay. I mean, I can go either way with it, but I do like it from time to time. There's a place there in Boone, North Carolina, when I go back there, that I like to go to, that they serve what they call a Hawaiian pizza. And that's, kind of one of those pineapple on pizza type things. It's called the mellow mushroom. So yeah, I like going there. I don't mean to plug anybody on this stream, but
it's fine. They serve Hawaiian pizza, the thing, in Arizona too, and the Midwest as well.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. It is pineapple and ham where I got it though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I always tell them to take the ham off of mine, because I'm on a plant-based diet, so it is what it is. So But anyway, here's, Alita has an anime, and that means, yep, this character can fit right into the anime. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of anime-esque, type of scenes there in Martian Memory, isn't there, Chaos? I mean, it is. It is. I won't say cartoons, but it's kind of.
The game is old 1998 graphics. I mean, it's. This is back before they measured things in polygons. Back in the days of Garden of Martian Memory, they measured it in the bits of the processor. So
yes,
64-bit processors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, pretty primitive.
Now it's measured in like how many millions of polygons.
Yeah, that's right. And what is it down to? Like what? Maybe 3 pixels or something like that, isn't it? It's some really ridiculously small number like that where they can get real good clarity with it, I think. So, but anyway. So anyway, Alita does have an anime, and that means she can fit right into one of these. And these certainly are not all of the anime. This is the anime that I'm most familiar with, and some of them I'm not all that familiar with. But that first one there, A Certain Scientific Railgun, that's one of Maxie's favorites. And that's that character in the upper right corner you see right there. I can't remember her name. Do you remember her name, Angelus?
Starts with a K, I think.
Yeah.
That's letter K is coming up in my head.
Yeah.
I can't remember the full name.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, it's no, I was about to say Makoto, but that's not right. That's from Blade Runner, I guess, or not Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, I guess. Then of course there's our. Yeah, go ahead.
If you're going to mention video games, I can present the fan art picture I made earlier this week.
Oh, you want to share it? Because we can share it if you want. Well, when you get ready, you can share it, and we'll show them what you have. Then, of course, there's Arcane. I think we did a stream on this on Radio Chaos. I think some time back. We've done a couple of them. I think where we've kind of, just kind of made them, compared the two, that type thing. And then there's a stream called Aria. Now I'm not real familiar with that one. I know what I do know is what Kran has told me, that she knows a little bit more about it, but it's a slice of life type video, or rather anime on Mars is where that is. And then of course there's one of Angelus's favorite animes there, and that's Blade Runner Black Lotus. And he and I watched that. Oh heck, it's been almost a year now, hasn't it, Angelus? But that was really enjoyable. It's kind of an offshoot, for the Blade Runner IP, and it's really is a good thing to watch, and you see a lot of parallels, between Black Lotus and Alita, especially the movie. You see a lot of parallels there. And then of course there's Cowboy Bebop. I've seen a couple of episodes of that and enjoyed both of them. So how long has that Cowboy Bebop been around? Angelus, you or Chaos know?
1998 was when the series was on television.
Oh, okay. So yeah, but it's also the two episodes I watched were extremely enjoyable. And then of course there's Dragon Ball, and that's something that Den or Ox King really likes, and he and I watched several episodes of that. And we'll be. By the way, we have.
I'm going to show both the original game cover and the custom cover I made. Okay, so don't do it until I get both.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, when you get ready there, Chaos, just throw it up in the share, and I'll pull it up on the screen. So. And of course, then there's Ghost in the Shell. There is both a movie and an anime, 2 anime series on that. And I haven't seen. I saw. I guess it might have been a segment from Ghost in the Shell from the first series, but I have seen the movie, and the movie's really good. But yeah, there is an anime on Ghost in the Shell, and I just thought of the name of I guess of the scientific railgun, Makoto Misaka, I think is her name, or not Makoto, but Misaka, I know is part of that. Anyway, I like how my brain shoots off in a tangent like that sometimes. And then there's Halo. You know, that's also a game, I guess. And that thing's been around for a while. I actually played, I guess, the first version of that game when it first came out, and it was pretty enjoyable. The game was, but there is several episodes. I guess you can get them on. You can get a lot of this on YouTube, by the way, for Halo. And the thing about Halo is it is roughly the same time period that Alita is in. So that would be a pretty natural fit. Now, they're different universes, obviously, but I think Alita would fit right in, especially in the military sense with Halo. And then, of course, there's One Punch Man, and that's something I'm pretty familiar with. I've seen a lot of episodes on that. And really what One Punch Man is, it's kind of a parody on superhero movies, because it seems like everybody in that particular universe gets in trouble. These monsters come out, and they're just wreaking havoc all over the place, and they're kind of beating up on everybody and killing people. And then, of course, Saitama, that's who that character is. He comes out.
Right. I think I've got it, but go on.
Okay, yeah, I see him. But anyway, he comes in just with one punch, he destroys them. So, I mean, it's really kind of funny in that regard. Okay, here's one, something from Chaos, I guess.
So it's a thing off of the game series called Metal Gear Solid. I think Crick saw me playing part of the first one.
Yes, I did.
But
that's that. Yeah, that figure there on the left, I guess. Where is that's not a Queen Studios figure, is it?
It is.
Ah, okay.
Put her in the picture. It's Photoshop.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's really good. It looks like she's about to fight that, whatever that.
It's a Metal Gear
robot. Yeah, that's right. And then, of course, there's this guy right here.
So, yeah, this is Metal Gear Solid. And in the specific game I was playing, there's two guys called Snake. They're both clones of the same guy, but you don't quite figure it out. But this guy on the right with the blue-gray kind of outfit is the one you play as.
I see.
Snake, former Army Ranger, and he just does a lot of sneaking around and uses big weapons. And he beats up a cyborg in part of the game as a boss.
Damn. And he's a meat boy, right?
Yeah, he is a meat boy.
Yeah, he beats up on those guys. Yeah,
I haven't reached that part yet, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I haven't reached it yet.
So just to go back to what I was saying a while ago, X-Man 577, that first character there that we're going to be going over in the anime is Misaka. So yeah, that's her first name. She's got a longer name, but I can't remember what it is. I actually put this in here too, hoping we'd get Maxie on because he really loves that anime. So okay, so there's here are the anime that we're going to talk about because they're the ones I'm the most familiar with. That I am so sure that there are a bunch more. Because I mean, if you just go into YouTube and type in anime, God Almighty, you'll get no telling how many hits, and it's all kinds of hits. And I even watched one YouTuber's video where he was ranking the top 25 anime or something like that, so and I wasn't familiar with any of them, so I didn't put any of them on here. What I will probably do is go back to that video and then put the link in the description below if you wanted to go look at it after the stream is over. I can't really do that during the stream. So anyway, here are basically the 9 anime that we're going to talk about, and then of course at the kind of toward the end here we can talk about a couple of extra ones that maybe Angelus and Chaos know that I'm not aware of, because I really don't watch a lot of anime. I have watched some, of course, but I'm not. I guess you would say I'm not an aficionado of it. Okay, here's a certain scientific railgun. Now, what this is, and I think we did do a stream on this that Maxie hosted. I guess it was, probably early last year, I think. And what this character does is she has the power to manipulate electromagnetic radiation. So in a way, she's kind of like Magneto, in terms of, being able to manipulate the electromagnetic radiation. And basically what she can do is when she what you would think of as charging up, she can, if you see on the left there, she's got something she's holding in her hand. And typically what she'll do is she'll get like a coin or something like that. And she will kind of, use them kind of like a rail gun, that she will flick that coin at you, and she'll shoot that coin at you at speeds that are almost relativistic speeds. So, I mean, she is pretty powerful, in that regard, because if anything, if you took a grain of sand and accelerated it to near the speed of light, it would have a punch that would be 1,000,000 times greater than a bullet. So, I mean, she's pretty powerful like that. Now, she is a meat girl, as they would say. In other words, there's nothing about her that's a cyborg, but she goes.
That's the thing, though. I forgot to mention that Snake in Metal Gear Solid has a EMP hand grenade. That really helps him out a lot.
Well, if he's fighting cyborgs, it wouldn't it? Because it kind of crashes their system.
It's say in the game. I haven't reached it yet, but he destroys a tank by hitting with the EMP hand grenade, and then he just puts an actual live grenade into the tank.
Wow. Which kind of finishes off who else is in there alive, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Boy, I see we got a lot of Germans out there in the chat. Das ist gut, as they would say. So, but anyway, Misaka has this, I guess she's a roommate, because she goes to a school, is what she does, where they're training these espers, is I think what they are. And they have different levels. And I think the levels go up to either 6 or 7. I'm not sure. Might be 6. No, it's okay, Finn. You can speak German if you want. I'm good with that. So, yeah, she and X-Man 577 says that Misaka is a human rail gun, and that's basically what she is, because she can project a coin or anything metal like that by using kind of electromagnetic radiation, and it's potent. I mean, if you imagine being struck by something that could go near the speed of light, that's mass, not light, but mass, you'd be in big trouble, But she's like a level 5 Esper, I think, is what they call them. And there are a couple other characters that are in a certain scientific railgun that are higher than her. One of them is a guy that I guess they called him. He was kind of a spinoff of this, and she has no effect on him, and it kind of really bugs her, that she can't. She can do anything she wants to him, and it doesn't affect him in any way. So and I think he's like a level 6 or something like that. So, but anyway, she has this roommate that has the ability to teleport. And she can go from one place to another pretty fast. And she has several other friends, a couple of girls, I think, that have maybe lesser powers, that they're also in school. And she's regarded as one of the highest ranking students in that school. And I can't remember the name of the city. Maybe you can, X-Man. But she's considered one of the highest, if not the highest, Esper in that whole city, So, and you can see she's just kind of a skinny teenager, is what she is, basically, And yeah, like they always do in anime, they always give these girls, they got uwu, of course. But yeah, this is somebody that you wouldn't want to screw with, I think, wouldn't want to piss them off, because they could really, if this was a real person that had this kind of power, you definitely wouldn't want to make this person mad at you, So, so have you seen this, Angelus, you or Chaos? Have you seen this anime?
I've seen the first season of it.
Yeah.
Mainly because Maxi sort of kept kept recommending it to me until I did.
Yeah, that's kind of what he did with me, but I kind of enjoyed it, you know. If you go on YouTube, you can you'll get the first episode as a dub, and then after that they're all subs, you know. So this is the Creek's kind of preference. I preferred dubs over subs, because if you're reading, you can't catch all the action, you know, in real time, you know. So there is a bad guy in there that I guess, well, basically in the second season, I've seen about half of the episodes, but basically what they're doing, there's this lab that's trying to clone, if not have cloned, this Mysica character, and there's like hundreds of them. And this one guy, he's kind of a villain, kind of like X-Man 577, starts trying to kill him, you know, trying to kill these girls that are clones of Mysica, you know. So, she's, you know, I guess she goes after him, stuff like that. But I haven't seen the whole second season. I've only seen about half of it, so I don't know where it ends up at the end of the second season. So, but I think if Alita had a small part in this, I think she would fit right in, because she herself, particularly in the doll body, she's a teenager, you know. So what you saw at the beginning there of the anime, she's in the doll body, and then eventually she gets the berserker body, and that's what she fights Clive Lee, or Clive Lee of the White Hot Palm with in that anime. And she's pretty powerful there. But I think, in my estimation, Alita and Mysica would get along very well, I think, because they're similar in a lot of ways. Yes, that's right. That's right, X-Man. That other spinoff series is called a certain magical index. That's right, I think, or something like that. And that's where that guy, he's in that particular series. That's the guy that, and I think this Mysica actually has a couple of cameos in that series. And she has no effect on him at all. And it kind of bugs her, you know, that he's able to withstand anything she can do, and it doesn't bother him, you know. She can't, in other words, she can't hurt him, you know. So, and therefore she, you know, it just kind of bugs her that he has that ability to withstand anything she can do, you know. So like a typical teenager, you know, it kind of bugs her if she can't, you know, if somebody's there and she can't bug them, you know. But what's really comical about this particular series is her and her roommate, and I can't remember her name, X-Man. Maybe you can remember her roommate's name, but you know, she has this ability to teleport. But what's funny is these two are always fighting each other. You know, they get into these little tiffs, you know, and it's kind of hilarious in a lot of ways. But the roommate actually has a crush on Mysica, you know, and Mysica, you know, I guess likes her, but doesn't, you know, it's not a reciprocating type of thing, you know. So and the roommate's always trying to get on her good side and stuff like that. So yeah, that's right. He has that guy, and I can't remember his name, but he has the ability to cancel these Esper's powers, you know. And you know, I guess that's why she can't really affect him in any way, you know, because he has that ability, and it kind of bugs her a lot, I think. So okay, any other thoughts? Chaos, have you seen this series? I guess Chaos stepped away, but you have seen the first season of it, right, Angelus?
Yeah,
that
is correct.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, I thought it was pretty good. So, you know, it's well written, I think, you know, in my opinion. It's not for some folks, I guess, you know, but I enjoyed it quite a bit, I think.
I think Alita opened up quite a lot of worlds or stories, if you will.
Yeah.
In, like, you know, anime, in movies.
Yes.
So I remember when you mentioned that you didn't want to see, or it didn't appeal that like a teenage female cyborg was like kicking ass and taking names, and then you watch
Yeah.
it, and,
And then,
and the rest of that
wow.
day is history.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw the movie particularly, and that of course that kind of enticed me to watch the anime. I don't like the anime as good as the movie, but I do enjoy it. I've seen the anime 3 or 4 times, but yeah, it's like Angela said, I had no desire when the trailers came out to see a teenage girl beating up on cyborgs and robots and stuff. And I said, it's just not my cup of tea, And then I saw the movie and I fell in love with her on the first viewing, and I had to see it again 2 nights later, because it was I was out of town. I was on a business trip, so I watched it on HBO, and it knocked my head off. So, and then after that, I did watch some anime, and I still don't watch a lot of anime, but I hadn't watched very much anime at all before I watched Alita, so it's like Angela said, it's like Alita opened up this world to me in terms of what I watch, or in terms of entertainment, I guess. Any other thoughts about this one, Angelus or Chaos?
Just to sort of segue and still somehow remain on track. I mean, I'd love to hear you quickly touch upon like what you used to do sort of G yourself up prior to a lifting competition, and then obviously after.
Well, I didn't really start lifting until after I'd already seen Alita, because I saw Alita, I guess, in March of 70. Jesus, Gary.
2019.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't see Alita until March of 2020, and then I started competing. And I'd been lifting weights for a long time, but I hadn't competed, and I didn't start competing lifting weights until August of 2020 was my first competition. I was a rookie, and every single competition I go to, or not so much, it's not that I have to so much on local competitions, but now, I'm starting to go to national competitions. It is a little nerve wracking. You can be a little bit apprehensive or something like that.
It's what happens when you break state records, isn't that right?
Well, maybe, but yeah. But the thing of it is, when you're competing nationally, you're competing against people that that are as good or better than you are. So in local competitions, I mean, there might be 1 or 2 you run into here and there that are that are going to give you a battle. But nationally, there's a lot of folks, that are lifting just like you are. And it's kind of a nervousness thing. But what I do before those kind of competitions, and even in a lot of local competitions, I'll watch that scene where Alita's in the locker room and Ito, Ito's about to put her wheel feet on, and she says, Ito, can a human love a cyborg, and what that does for me is that for her, this competition is kind of beside the point. I mean, for her, it's like, it's no big deal. I mean, okay, I'm going to go out in front of these people and do what I do, but I'm more about Hugo, basically, in her case, and it's not like she doesn't take it serious, but it's just it just doesn't affect her, and she has a kind of a more or less a nonchalant or sort of a, kind of a, let live and let live type attitude toward it. It's almost like she doesn't care if she wins or not, So, and when I watched her in that scene where she has this, kind of this attitude about competing, I think, yeah, that's right. I'm doing this for fun anyway. What am I worried about? Now, before that, I didn't really compete in any sanctioned stuff. I did a couple of small things with, several friends and stuff like that. I just really just thought about it, when I would compete. I didn't, I just kind of thought about what I was going to do ahead of time and all that. And to a degree, I do that now. But with Alita, you know, I could just, you know, I can fall back on that, you know, in that locker room scene, and it just kind of makes me, kind of takes away some of the apprehension out of me, you know, by watching that. So anyway, well, Angelus, you've competed in martial arts tournaments, haven't you?
In a well, technically it's long enough that I can call it a different lifetime, but yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, so did I. I did it when I was doing martial arts. I did it, you know, what I would do. Now, you were talking about before Alita, I'd watch Bruce Lee movies. You know, that's what I did, you know, or any kung fu movie. So, but anyway, what did you do, Angelus, when you were kind of getting psyched up to compete in a martial arts tournament?
Just empty my mind, because like the more you think about it, it's like I guess extra weight mentally. So
Yeah,
just try not to think of anything at all.
yeah,
Because I guess if I was to use Alita as an example, I try to not even think about her in the context that, you know, if I try to G myself up too much, I'd feel like I'd be less agile, or be less like switched on in the context of my reflexes. And yeah, I just needed to let go and let, you know, muscle memory and reflexes and instinct and all that take over.
yes. So it's kind of a release valve for you almost, right?
Yeah, and like it's
Yeah.
not exactly a easy state of mind to achieve. So
Yeah, that's
especially
right.
when you're like literally surrounded by, you know, something that you love doing,
Yeah.
and like, you know, I guess you get in touch with that, like, you know, why were you there? Why um are you even competing in the first place? So
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when Alita skates out on the track that first time. She's all smiles and all this stuff, carefree almost. You know, I mean, that's kind of what she did, right? She's kind of letting go all that. She lets that stuff go. For her, it's natural because, I mean, she's OP, obviously, or at least compared to those other cyborgs. I mean, she's definitely OP in that berserker body, competing against them. But it's like she just lets it go, doesn't she? Okay, but anyway, we got off the track here a little bit, but that's okay. It's still mostly about Alita, I guess. Yeah, Finn likes kung fu movies. Cool. Okay, so I guess let's move on. I reckon we can go to this one, Arcane. I've seen one episode of this, and this person is Jinx, and she's kind of like Alita in some ways, isn't she? I mean, Angelus, I think you've seen more of this anime than I have, haven't you?
yeah, I've seen. I mean, there's only one season with the second in development, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen all the episodes for the first.
Well, in what ways is she kind of like Alita, Arcane?
There's a few characters that display a little bit of Alita's personality, or you could say that Alita borrowed. I mean, this was made like long after Alita was created, but
Yeah.
in either case, there's a lot of there's a bit of Alita in various characters. Like with Jinx, it's just like the, I guess, batshit crazy sort of
Mm-hmm.
like just jump right in and, you know, I don't know, just I guess that I would probably be more suited to her I guess attitude or take on her time in the motorball arc
Yeah.
is probably the best way I could sort of relate to that one. There's another character called Vi, which is probably more of a Badlands vibe, or that's a vibe that
Okay.
I get anyway.
Okay.
Other people might have other opinions, but yeah. So there's a bit of a leader in various other characters as well.
Well, I mean that image on the right there is very reminiscent of Alita picking up that Gatling gun, isn't it? Firing them at that Deckman, you know, that's very reminiscent of it. Now I only saw the first episode of Arcane. I don't recall seeing any cyborgs in that thing. There may have been. I just don't remember. But how would she fit in this? I mean, what kind of role would she be able to play in this? I mean, because I assume there's a kind of a time, there'd have to be a time travel aspect to it, I think.
By definition, there are cyborgs because you got some humans with like cybernetic or like robotic enhancements, if you want to
Okay.
call it that. But just I guess the design and aesthetic is not as what I would say knee deep in cyberpunk as
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the pictures that we see there, it's not like tech heavy, if you will.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no doubting that the tech, quote unquote, exists in that world. So yeah, I mean, most of the time it comes in the forms of weapons. The best example I come up with is, funnily enough, using another Cameron movie in Aliens. Like you got the various weapons that that the Marines use, and then there you have Ripley just like hanging around in what they call a power loader, which is basically a machine you jump into, pilot to lift heavy things and chuck it around like manual labor. And but Ripley ends up using it as a weapon, and well, Alita practically is a weapon in some aspects, but
Well, Jinx is she's a really good fighter, isn't she? I mean, in terms of, I mean, I don't recall seeing her use martial arts, but maybe she does, you know. But obviously she can fire that Gatling gun. So
yeah, I would say that she's like in some movie series, stuff like that, you'll have people that can just pick something up, almost anything, and like turn it into a weapon. And I feel that's like you know, it's something that she does because she has her main sort of weapon, which is that Gatling gun sort of thing. But you know, I believe she even invents some of her own weapons, which is why I go back to the aspect of just, you know, picking up a weapon and improvising.
well, it looks like she's got a pistol on her left hip there, too, doesn't she? I mean, is she?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, she's expert with firearms, I guess. This Jinx, isn't she?
Yeah, and she, you know, I'm pretty sure she makes her own as well. Like whether it be firearms, grenades, like little robotic claymores, for lack of. So basically, think of a claymore mine or bomb, whatever you call the weapon.
Yeah.
And but it's like a little moving wind up toy.
You mean like what? Yeah, point this toward the enemy or something.
Yeah.
She moves toward
or rather,
the enemy.
it starts walking toward the enemy, looking. What the is this? It's like
boom.
boom.
Yeah. Well, now Jinx, she's fighting in a revolution type thing, isn't she? Because I don't really remember that first series too much. Is she in a kind of a? I don't know. I don't want to say insurrection.
You could say she belongs to a faction that exists within her world, but primarily she just fights for what she wants, which isn't always necessarily a good thing. Like in the context of like her goals aren't always kosher with the rest of society, but
oh, look, she's got big eyes. Oh, you remember that bad stuff we heard about Alita? Oh, we don't like Alita because she's got big eyes. Here's another example, of a character with large irises. I mean, I remember hearing that, when I first started doing stuff in the Elite Army. I thought, what is this? What is this preoccupation or predisposition these people have against, large irises? Because I mean, you see it in anime all the time, and even in some Disney movies you see it. So I never got that, So well, does Jinx have a love interest? Because I don't remember seeing that in that one episode I saw.
I don't think so. No. Again, it's been a while since I've seen it, so
Yeah. I saw the first episode. God, it was last year sometime. I don't remember a lot about it, but it was enjoyable, I think. Chaos, have you ever seen Arcane?
No, not really. I probably will try when I get the time.
Yeah. I should probably go back and start watching it again, because I think, from what I remember, I enjoyed watching it. It's got a lot of action in it, so I kind of like that. So, and I do like the character Jinx. I like her, So she's kind of like Alita in some ways, isn't she? Well, if Alita was in Arcane, Angelus, would she say fight with Jinx and her faction, or what would she do?
I guess it all, much like Jinx, it really does depend on her state of mind. Like, I'm gonna borrow a little bit from 2077 here, but like she changes sides, like you change clothes, sort of thing.
Oh, okay. As long as she gets what she wants, right? She's going to fight for it, right? Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that could change from day to day almost.
In fact, yeah, that's pretty much nailed both one quite major aspect of Alita and Jinx at the same time. Like I said, it's not always a good thing, but I think like for Alita's side, it's more good than bad for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jinx, it's just all about her, because like, I mean, without spoiling too much, it's not really a spoiler, but like she's always just been by herself in her life, and the reason why and how that comes to be, well, watch the series and find out. But yeah, she's pretty much always been a bit of a lone wolf, hence why she just fights for herself and no one else.
Well, that's kind of like Alita in some ways, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hence,
I guess
coming full circle back to my original comment of there's aspects of Alita's journey and personality in various characters in Arcane. So she definitely fit into the world, and you wouldn't have to change too much at all to visually or aesthetically fit into the world as well.
so. It sounds like Alita on some things, as long as what Jinx wants is complementary to what Alita wants, Alita would fight with her. But in other cases, Alita may not, right? I maybe not fight against her necessarily, but just wouldn't fight with her, right?
Yeah, you can definitely say that too.
Yeah. I got to go back and watch this anime, I guess, or watch, you know, rewatch the first episode and start watching the others. Now, what is this one on? Is this on? Well, for instance, let me go back one slide here. This guy right here, I think, is on Hulu. Now that's, or is it might be Prime? I'm not sure which one. I mean, I think it's Hulu, but whatever. But what streaming platform is this guy on right here? Is Arcane on?
Oh, probably Netflix.
Netflix? Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up, but like that's the first one that comes to mind.
Okay. All right. Well, it seems like we got a compatibility plus here on this one for Alita to be in here. Now, what time frame is this in? Is this current, or is this like a future dystopian world type thing? Or just a different universe type thing?
Just a different parallel universe, I guess, is the best way you can put it. Like I said, it's like it still mirrors today's society, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond that, it's just a different different world, a different aesthetic, different feel or vibe to it.
So I guess Alita would have to have access to an interdimensional portal to get over there, probably. So, you know, to get in that particular universe or whatever.
Well, you definitely need a good writing team to do a crossover.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it wouldn't be too hard at all to write in a leader type character.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's move on then. I guess Aria. Now, you know, I don't know a lot about this. I do know that this occurs about 200 years before. This is on Mars. Mars has been terraformed. And I don't even know the name of these characters right here. If Kran was on, I did invite Kran, I think. But if Kran was on, she could tell us. But that character that's sitting on the lap of that girl in the pink hair there in the center image, he's called the president. And I don't know what he's the president of, but he's like a pet, I guess. But he is a sentient being. So, I mean, and from what I gathered with these characters, you know, it's kind of a slice of life type of anime. I mean, there's no fighting. There's, you know, there's really no space travel. These girls actually, they kind of operate or row these gondolas around, and they take people from one place to another, and you know, they'll drop them off. And there's water on Mars here in this particular case, and it's just them living their daily lives day in and day out. And you know, like I say, this is the 24th century, I think, is where it is, which I have my doubts whether you can terraform Mars in 300 years or not, but that's basically what it is. And I remember when we did do a kind of a crossover thing on this, not so much on all the animes, but in different IPs, but we included Aria in that particular stream. And I remember Den was on the stream with us, and he said, if Alita was to, you know, was to cross over or get into this world somehow and met these girls, they would be dead in 15 minutes. And it's not because Alita would kill them. It'd be because the people after Alita would kill these girls like they'd be, you know, because they're so sweet and innocent that they would be collateral damage, I guess, you know. But there's nothing. It's not like Arcane, or it's not like, say, Cowboy Bebop or any of that stuff. There is no violence in this particular anime. There are some guys in here that some of these girls like, you know, but they don't, it's not dodgy or anything like that, you know. And they just, you know, a lot of it, from what I understand, is that these girls will row a passenger from one place to another, and a lot of it is about that passenger telling them about what about their day, you know. and you know, about what's going on that day or something, what they're doing and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like a little mini story for each episode. Now that's what I gathered from it. So I've never seen this anime though, but I do think that, you know, it is on Mars for sure. And I don't know if I agree with Dan or not, whether these people, whether these girls would be dead or not, but I do think Alita, even though she's kind of a, you know, she's a cyborg that loves action and all that, but Alita does have a soft side too, you know, and I think she would get along with these girls very well. You know, maybe she could do a cameo or something like that to where, you know, they have maybe somebody in the 26th century has developed some sort of time displacement equipment or machine or something like that, and she gets teleported back to the 24th century, and she meets these girls, and I think she would get along with them because they're not a threat to her, for one thing. You know, I mean, they're just sweet little innocent girls, you know, that are just rowing gondolas around, I guess. And I think Alita would befriend them to a degree. And then, of course, she would probably be teleported back to the 26th century, you know. So, but anyway, have you seen Chaos? You or Angelus have you seen this anime at all?
Negative.
Yeah. Now, Cran told me she has a lot of friends that just absolutely love this anime because she gave Dan a hard time when he said that, you know. So, but you can see these girls look pretty sweet. You know, they look like they're, they look innocent, you know, for sure, you know, and oh my gosh, they got big eyes. Oh my God. I guess, you know, there's another, so there you go. You know, kind of like that movie, what's it called? Frozen, I guess, is another one. So, but that's the extent of what I know about this anime, you know. Maybe I should try to look this one up too. But like I say, I don't really watch a lot of anime. I mean, Maxie, it's like Angela said, Maxie makes these recommendations and he keeps making them. And eventually you just, well, I got to please Maxie. So I'm going to watch this anime. Now, in the case of the certain scientific railgun, I started enjoying it, you know, so you know, that was a good suggestion there. So, but he hasn't, nobody suggested, Cran hasn't suggested this one to you at all, Angelus, or anything like that?
No, not even Maxie yet.
Yeah. I don't think Maxie's seen this. He may have. I think he knows of it, but he may not have seen it, you know, so. Okay, well, I guess we can move on from this one because I don't really know that much about it. So now here's one that Angelus and I bet Angelus, you've seen this more than once. I've only seen it once. There is a lot of parallels in this thing, you know, with Alita. I mean, even to the character, you know, I mean, the character to me is very much like Alita. Anyway, is that your take on it, Angelus? Do you? And I forget her name too. What is her name? Elle. That's right. Yeah. So look at that picture.
Elle Lamont.
Well, it's definitely not Elle Lamont, but you know. But anyway, look at that image on the left. I mean, you know, that could show you. I mean, that would be like if you said that AI generated that image and that was Alita, you'd probably believe them, you know. Now, Elle is not a cyborg. You know, she is definitely a human, you know. She's 100% human. But she does do a lot of things in that movie that are very much, and Angelus, you know this better than I do, so give us a little rundown on this and maybe how Alita could fit in it.
Well, sorry, had a mind blank. So essentially in that world, they like think of it as like the robot in the iRobot movie with Will. I was about to say Will Ferrell with Will Smith.
Yeah.
And in this particular world, they've created what they call replicants. Initially, it's just, you know, to help serve humankind, but then, when you start playing God, then you come into the meat and potatoes of the cyberpunk world.
Mhm.
And yeah, and much like AI is sort of being thought of doing even now, is basically developing its own sort of consciousness, if you will, its own sort of intelligence, and as a tech for these replicants advances, so does the I guess the lifespan of them, if you want to call it that, because I think initially they only lasted 4 years before the replicants just sort of broke down, and I don't know, like a car that eventually breaks down after a while.
Yeah.
It just becomes like dead weight. But
They had a pre-programmed expiration date, from what I remember of the movie Blade Runner.
yeah,
Rutger Hauer's character, and I guess what's her name that played in that mermaid movie, Daryl Hannah. They were both replicants. So, and yeah, go ahead.
It's basically hinted that L is a new form of replicant, but what the changes are, how deep those changes go, how closely aligned or further removed she is from an actual human being.
Yeah.
It's never really sort of explained to a 100% degree in the series. It's left open to interpretation by the audience.
Yeah.
And so
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the series, at least the one season that they have released, is just Elle's initial journey.
Well, she's kind of, in some ways, she's kind of like that replicant that was in the original Blade Runner named Rachel, and that was played by same lady that was in Dune. I can't remember her name now, but she didn't have an expiration date. So, and I don't recall from when we watched it that time. It struck me that L doesn't have an expiration date. Is that right? Or at least we all have expiration dates, obviously. But,
Not apparently, but who knows?
yeah. Well, some folks.
It's not hinted that she has an expiration date, and you really are left wondering if she does or doesn't, for that matter.
And there's some definite parallels here in there, because she fights this one girl that looks very much like Erica, and I thought, and she also fights this individual. I don't want to give it away; it'd be too much of a spoiler, because it is really a good series. What's it got? 6 episodes in it? Is that what it's got?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that last episode is very reminiscent in some ways of, I guess, of kind of the end of Alita, but with a twist, And I remember Angelus had to point it out to me what the twist was, and I'm not going to say it because it'll ruin it, But it's sort of also like the end of Last Order. Because Elle goes off, you see her going off, but that's as much as I'm going to say about it, So it's definitely in the Blade Runner universe, that's for sure. And I guess you could still call it anime, although I guess the animation on it, or the CGI or something's a little different. It's not. Yeah, there you go. That's her. Yeah. So you see, she fights this girl that looks to me, it's very much like Alita fighting Erica, which I really enjoyed that.
So and world-wise or world-building-wise, It's definitely something that you can cross over with the leader, and you almost probably wouldn't even be able to tell too much of a difference either.
Yeah, that's right. Now the guy you see there, yeah, that guy where you got the cursor on it. Well, not, yeah, him. That's not a romantic interest, but in some ways it's kind of like Hugo and Alita, although there's no romance going on there that I remember, or was there. I don't remember Angelus.
Again, it's similar to her expiry date. It's never alluded to.
Yeah, yeah,
like
that's
it's
right.
left open for the audience, and yeah, you put too much of that in the series, people end up, in theory, wanting more, and
Yeah, that's right.
but I don't know, people were bitching about something about it, and it just never really
Click
got
on that
around.
one image on the far left over there where they're laying down. That to me was reminiscent of Alita and Hugo being on top of the building, looking at Zalem. Now they're just out there looking at the stars, I think,
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there is a little bit of a romantic thing going there, but
I guess you never really find out due
Yeah.
to insert spoiler here.
Yeah, that's right. And that one where she's fighting that guy, you see the one next to that, the guy there that you got on the screen there. He's she gets injured, I guess, in a fight with somebody, and he's helping her. I guess he's helping to treat her wounds or something like that. So
There you go.
yeah. Now
He's
he's
a
not.
replicant.
Yeah, he's a replicant. He's not like Hugo in that he can fight. This guy, he's a good fighter. So this is
Well,
very
actually,
much. Yeah, look, that looks like Harrison Ford, doesn't it?
yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But in Blade Runner, it was Deckard.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, that's that one. So
Yeah. Boy, that looks like Alita, except for being human, I guess.
well, the cybernetics, if you want to call it that, because I refuse to have the word robot associated with the leader whenever I can.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
The cybernetics are all inside, if you will, with replicants, because on the outside they appear very much human-like.
Yeah. Well, maybe she is a cyborg then, isn't she? Maybe she's not a total replacement cyborg, but she's got some cybernetics going on there. Now, where was this? This was on Crunchyroll, wasn't it? Or
Yes.
yeah.
Now, for those that have read it, which obviously wouldn't include Vladdy. Yes, I'm giving Vladdy shit. There's a scene where our leader just like I guess flashback Alita, if you want to call it that, is just like cuts through several Mars soldiers, I guess, and she's just left covered in their blood, which is not too dissimilar to that image there.
Yes.
So there's a lot of visual parallels too.
I love the fact she's got those large irises like Alita too. I love that.
But anyway, that is Blade Runner Black Lotus.
That was that, and I highly recommend that thing. It's like, say, Angelus and I watched it. It took us 2 or 3 streams to watch it after streams, didn't it? And that it was really enjoyable. Very Alita-esque. Very, very Alita-esque. And she's not a bounty hunter, but she does hunt a couple of people. That's very much like Alita would do, I think. Have you seen this one, Chaos? I guess not. I guess Chaos had to run on. Anyway, any last thoughts on Black Lotus there, Angelus?
No, although just if they ever did do a crossover, that it'd be they probably have more reason to ally than like fight.
Yeah. The one knock I did hear on this was that a lot of folks didn't like the graphics of it, didn't like the way it looked. To me, it's still very watchable. It's a very enjoyable. And if they did an Alita series with this kind of graphics, I'd be certainly okay with it. Because it was very enjoyable to watch, Okay, I guess we can move on to Cowboy Bebop. Now, I've only seen 2 episodes of this one. And the guy on the left there is kind of the main guy, I think. And I don't recall his name. You've seen this, haven't you, Angelus? And I think you've seen it too, Chaos. Now, all these folks on the right. Now, it seems like I remember they were on like a satellite, weren't they? Or some kind of space station or something like that. Is that right?
No, just the spaceship, I guess, if you're...
Yeah, spaceship,
pretty
yeah.
much.
And they're shorts. I guess every episode's a short, right? I mean, there's no... From what I remember seeing between episode 1 and 2, there's no real continuum. I mean, it's just shorts. Is that right? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Like there are, like
yeah,
the stories are just what the various bounties sort of take over from a storyboard point of view.
Yeah.
With the overarching, like, major story that eventually, becomes less about the particular bounty that they're after and more about the main story, as more of the main story is revealed through their journeys with bounty hunting.
Yeah, they are
a good bounty hunter, like ensemble TV series.
Yeah, that guy on the left is the main character, isn't he? What's his name?
Well, Spike Spiegel. It's him. It's
Okay.
him. Jet. The guy in the middle is top middle is Jet, and they start the series.
Yeah.
Now Faye and Ed, the little girl named Ed and the other one named Faye, they join in later.
Okay.
And Ed and Jet Black is a former police officer who became a bounty hunter.
Yeah, so they're very much like hunter warriors.
Right.
And
I see where Alita gets along with the team, though.
Well, I seem to remember him getting in a battle with a guy or with someone in that first episode. It was extraordinary action. I really enjoyed the heck out of it. And what can you describe that one, Chaos? How that battle went? It seems like to me that it was I guess one of the bounties they were hunting was an extremely good fighter or something like that.
There's a number of them. Yeah, I mean, Pierre LeFou, the fat clown with the energy shield.
Yes. Yeah, this is another one I got to go back and look at because it's been almost a year since I've watched this. But it was enjoyable, and it's late 90s anime, as you can see there. Was it late 90s?
It's 1998, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So these guys are very much like hunter warriors. They are after the bounty. Hey, you've seen this, haven't you, Angelus?
Yes. Long time ago in a different lifetime.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot about it because I only saw 2 episodes and I don't hardly remember them. I do remember the guy on the left was extremely good at what he did. That's what the thing that struck me about him, because he gets in this fight with this guy.
Like I
Who's
know Ed, Jet, Spike, and
yeah.
Faye, and all that. I know the bad guy Sid. I think, or
Yeah,
no,
Sid. Yeah, that's right.
I think his full name was Sid Vicious or something along those lines.
Something like that. Yeah. God,
But
that was
and yeah, but like I said, that was maybe the better part of a decade ago.
oh, so it's been a lot longer for you having seen it than I have, I guess, because I saw it last year sometime, I think.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, it's almost like Alita that you never really forget. You just
yeah,
sort of the overall story of it, you don't forget, just very minor details.
Oh, that's good because there's a lot of episodes that are just a story in and of themselves.
Hmm.
well, I think Alita would fit in with this group because in the anime, she's a bounty hunter and she's collecting heads, and she gets to the point where she enjoys it just like she did when in the manga. When kind of Ito said, "Oh God, I've created a monster here," letting her become a hunter warrior. But I think she probably would fit right in with these guys, wouldn't she?
Maybe she would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say that she would oppose, but she would definitely compete against
Yeah.
Faye in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she'd fit right in here, I think. Maybe her part in one of these episodes would be somehow she gets teleported into their world or their universe. Maybe there's an interdimensional bandit or something that she's chasing. It's gone through Iron City and is kind of teleported out, and she followed him. And that person ends up in this universe, in the Cowboy Bebop universe. And she tells this group, about this guy, and then and about the bounty that they could get with this guy or something if they wanted to do that. I could see all 5 of them going after him or her or whoever it would be, So I think she would fit very well in this universe, I think. And then, of course, after, at the end of that episode, if they capture him or he escapes into another universe and Alita follows them and these 4 stay behind, I can see something like that going on too. Yeah, I'm not quite as familiar with this one either, but any other thoughts about this chaos, that maybe any important notes here about this anime?
It stays focused on bounty hunting, really focused on it.
Yeah.
It even has a spin-off movie called Knocking on Heaven's Door.
I'll be damned. Do they use the Bob Dylan song as the as a song for it, the theme? Yeah, I think you might be muted there, Chaos. Well, that'd be an appropriate theme, I think, Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. Probably a lot of you folks are a lot too young to know that. So,
well, in a way, I am.
The spin-off movie came like almost 10 years after the TV series.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts about Cowboy Bebop?
No, just another good anime. Anime if you're into the that sort of thing. So
yeah. Dragon Ball. Now, I know this is one of Den or Ox King's. This is his favorite anime, I think. And from left to right, you got Goku on the left, you got Vegeta there next to him, and then you got Android 18, which she's not really an android, she's a cyborg, but I guess in translation they called it android, and they should have said cyborg because she has got human elements to her, physically human. And that guy on the right is named Krillin, and Krillin is actually Android 18's husband. Or he ends up that way, and they have a kid together. So it was, and that's kind of later on.
Krillin.
I'm sorry?
Chillin' like a Krillin.
That's right. So anyway, Android 18, she makes a scene. I can't remember what episode it was, but she literally kicks the crap out of Vegeta. And then her and Android 17 go off somewhere, 16, I guess it was Android 16 and 17. Wait a minute. No, it was 17. She's 18 and 19. I think of who it was. They went off they were hunting for Goku for some reason. I can't remember. Then, of course, Krillin, he happens on the scene after Android 18, kicks, Vegeta's butt. And, Android 18 kind of walks up to Krillin, he's standing there and he's like, oh crap, now I'm going to get the crap kicked out of me. And she kisses him and then they go off. And then the three androids fly off and Krillin's left behind going, holy crap, I thought I was done for. So anyway, they ended up getting married eventually in that series, So, and in this particular series, Vegeta actually is always striving to be better than Goku. And I think there was maybe an episode or two later, I haven't seen all of them, but where he actually does surpass Goku, but then Goku surpasses him again or something like that. But they got literally like 13, 14, or 15 different levels of Saiyan, and like Super Saiyan 15 is like unreal OP. It's like godlike powers where Goku has the ability to destroy the universe or some ridiculous power like that, So, but anyway, where I think Alita would fit in is if she got into this anime or this universe. I think she would kind of befriend Android 18. I think they could, because they have a lot in common, in terms of physically. And, Den always thought that Android 18 and Alita would fight each other because Alita would get, she would be attracted to Krillin. Now, Krillin, I don't know how attractive that one is. I don't know if Alita would go for him or not, but I do think they would befriend each other and they could have some kind of brief, friendship thing going on there, maybe fight a common enemy or something like that, and then of course Alita teleports out of there after that or something. So now
I would say she would get along with 18 in the aspect that like she'd be a good sparring partner, and something that quite a lot of martial artists get their jollies from is by being challenged by better fighters.
Yeah.
And which is one of a few, I guess, major aspects about Dragon Ball that allow for a character like Alita to exist in this world, and vice versa, of course. Because,
yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because she's, she's also a fighter as well. And while she doesn't go out, looking for a fight, or she's never constantly training for one, it doesn't mean that she wouldn't I guess step up when it's needed.
Yeah. And I think Goku and probably even Vegeta, they probably wouldn't, Alita, probably wouldn't be a threat to them, or at least they would not see her as a threat. But where I think Goku might get interested in Alita in terms of a sparring partner or fighting her or something like that, is if, Android 18 and Alita were sparring with each other, because I don't think they would actually fight each other, because I think they'd be friends, but they would spar each other, and then Goku would see just how good Alita is, and he'd say, oh, I want to fight her, something like that. And probably Vegeta might think the same thing. They wouldn't bother with Alita unless they thought she was a really good fighter, because both of them are trying to be better and better and better. is what they're trying to do, you know. At the beginning of the Dragon Ball Z part of this, I know Den and I looked at a lot of that. Vegeta and Goku were mostly adversarial, you know, in a lot of ways. I think later on, I can't remember. It's not in Dragon Ball Z, but in the next session or whatever it is, they actually they're kind of like friends almost, you know. And I remember seeing one episode where they were playing baseball, and Android 18 tells Vegeta that he can't throw the ball and hit somebody. And Goku said, "What? You mean we can't hit people with this ball?" Something like that, you know, throw it at them, you know. And so they're very competitive, you know. Android 18 is certainly. Krillin a little less so, but I think he's just a really good fighter as a human. But Goku and Vegeta, they're Saiyans. You know, they're not humans. They're humanoid, but they're not humans, and they have powers far beyond humans. You know, so it's like I said, they wouldn't see Alita. They wouldn't pay any mind to her until she sparred with Android 18 and they saw how good she was. Then they would be interested in her. You know, not romantically, but you know, just to spar with them. Is that kind of what the feeling you get about it, Angelus, about those two?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I think Goku particularly, all he wants to do is eat. He wants to eat and practice. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't care about anything else, you know. Goku does have a wife, you know, he does have that. And I guess he does provide for his family. And but his kind of what he likes to do, I guess you could call it a hobby, is practicing. That's all he wants to do, is he wants to practice fighting, martial arts. That's it. That's his thing. Nothing else matters to him except maybe his family, you know. And I think after he saw Alita's capabilities, he might even take her under his wing, you know, because he's pretty powerful, this guy, particularly when he gets up to like Super Saiyan 15 or something like that. That would be about the same level of that probably Alita would be in her Imaginos 2.1 body. You know, they would have a lot in common that way. He would want to fight her in the Imaginos 2.1 body, and so would Vegeta. You know, probably Krillin would not. He would not want to fight Alita ever, I think. Android 18 would be Alita's friend. Anyway, that's kind of how I see it. What, do you agree or not there, Angelus, Android 18? And I'm in Angelus.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of friends that I'd want to, you know, beat the crap out of, and vice versa. Have them try the same with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to spar with Den. I'd love to spar with you. Yeah, we've all got strength and backgrounds in.
Well, I warn you, I haven't sparred in, God almighty, I haven't sparred in probably 45 years. well, maybe not that far, 40 years, you know. But I did tell Den one time, if I ever go to Tampa, Florida, you know, I said, he said, well, you and I are going to spar. And I said, okay, we'll spar. I'll spar with you as long as we lift heavy weights. You know, we can be lifting. We're going to do some weight lifting too, you know. So, but you're right. Because for those of you that never done martial arts, when you're sparring with somebody, you know, even if you use full contact, you know, you're wearing, you know, protective gear and stuff like that, you know, or at the very least gloves, you know, to where you would punch, and maybe something like what they used to call safety kick. I don't know what they call it, or safety punch. I don't know if they still have that around or not, but you know, it's kind of a delicious thing, you know, and you really don't have a sense that you can fight until you get hit in the face. When you get hit in the face, then you'll know whether you can fight or not. That's kind of the way I see it, you know. But I agree. I mean, if I ever come to Australia, you know, Angelus, you and I'll spar with you. I mean, I may not live up to your expectations, but I'll do it.
Well, vice versa with lifting. Like, I converted some of your. Well, actually, the competition did it as well, but they converted like pounds to kilos. It's like Fuck that. I'm not lifting that. No chance in hell. But like, for example, I think what you benched like 100 or 110
120,
kilos.
120 kilos at the nationals. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think my personal best is like 70 or 80.
Okay.
And that's like with the bar being 20 kilos as an example,
Yeah.
sort of
Well,
thing. So
yeah, 6 years ago, I actually benched 345. I mean, I'm not, when COVID came along, and then that, of course, messed up my bench, because I couldn't get anybody to spot me, but because you
got
couldn't
Yeah.
go.
cannons for arms.
Nah, well, maybe. Let me see what that is. What pounds to kilos? What 345 is? What is that? It's 156 kilos. That's the most I've ever benched. So, that's it was heavy too. It was real heavy. So, but yeah, I think Alita would fit in here for sure, particularly her and Android 18. They'd be buds, I think. Particularly Vegeta, he's kind of adversarial with everybody. That's the guy in the purple hair and the blue suit there next to Android 18. He's just adversarial to just about anybody that stands in front of him. Whereas Goku, I mean, he's friendly. I mean, I know that picture doesn't look like he is, but he's kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. He loves to fight. He loves to do that, but he's just kind of he's like a country boy. He's just a good old guy. And he loves to train, and and of course, now granted, he's a fictional character, but you look at his arms, good God, that guy's got some strength behind him right there, So yeah, she'd fit in this world because even in her berserker body, they'd take notice of her, I think. Anyway, any thoughts about Dragon Ball, you guys?
I'm not very well versed on it. Sorry.
That's all right. Anything else on there on Dragon Ball Angelus?
No, we pretty much covered Alita's the aspects of Alita's place in this world.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that are interested in watching Dragon Ball, I think it may be Dragon Ball Z you want to watch. The original Dragon Ball, and I got Dragon Ball here because it covers 3 or 4 different arcs, or I guess you could call them arcs. But the original one, which came out back in the 80s, I guess early to mid 80s, Goku's a little kid, and the thing about Saiyans is they have tails. Kind of like Alita in her Imaginos 2.1 body, she's got a tail. The Creek really likes her tail. Well, they got tails too, those Saiyans too. You can't see them, I guess they're in those drawings, but they definitely have tails, so. Okay, Ghost in a Shell. Now, I have not seen this anime. I am familiar with the movie. Obviously.
Creek, you and I need to watch Akira and Ghost in the Shell at some point.
Let's do it. I'm all for it. Yeah,
I'll find a time. Which one do you want first, Akira or Ghost?
Well, you pick.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. Now just to be warned, on Tuesday and Thursdays I do strength training, so I really can't do it those 2 days. But probably
I'm busy those days too because they're weekdays.
Well, we can coordinate that because I'd love to watch. Yeah, I love to watch Akira. I've never seen Akira, and I left it off here because I'm not familiar with it. But I have seen the movie Ghost in the Shell, and I've heard the anime is similar. But who knows?
The manga goes much farther and has a lot more stories than the movie does. The movie's great in and of itself. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much.
Yes.
But, there's standalone complex. There's actual manga that goes through many stories in which she's solving issues with the police department, future police department.
Yeah, because this is her name is Major. Now, what is her name? She's a major. What's her name there? Chaos. I can't remember.
Motoko Kusanagi.
Yeah, that's right. Motoko Kusanagi. She is in a police force, and she is an android like Alita. I mean, very much like Alita. You know, now is that's pretty much the same in the anime too, isn't it? And in the manga, is that right, Chaos?
Yeah, I mean, the manga is basically a series of stories of what she does, as you know, with the futuristic police department, along with their supporting cast. The movie is a specific story out of the whole.
Now, the police department, at least I know in the movie, the police department was in Tokyo, wasn't it, or was it Hong Kong?
Yeah, it's in Tokyo.
Okay.
I think it was technological crimes or something. I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah.
Show the letters for it.
Yeah.
The letters for it. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember it exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Is Major an android in that, or is she? Does she?
She's just like Alita, where it's a brain inside a machine body.
Yeah, she's got a brain there, Vladi. So she's very much like Alita, I think.
But she can also remote control other like machine bodies too. There's a walking spider tank she can control, and in the second Ghost in the Shell movie, she remote controls a group of dolls that are all machine remotely.
Because in the movie she doesn't do that. I know she rips that the turret off of that spider tank.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, like I say, I've never seen the manga, but
the department has spider tanks though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I know the antagonist in in the movie was kind of after her. And the thing about her story too, I think it's the same as it was in the movie. She was actually just a human, and I don't know if she was killed or not, but presumed dead. And they took her brain and put it in a cyborg body or cybernetic body, kind of like Alita. And they buried, I guess, that because I remember in the movie that they had that scene at the end where Scarlett Johansson tells that Japanese lady, "You don't have to come here anymore," because I'm not in there. That's not me. Here I am, and it was kind of touching, in some ways. I don't know if the anime is the same, but yeah, she's that scene you see on the left there where she's jumping off that building and she crashes through another crashes on another floor and takes out those androids that were in there in the movie. She does similar things in the anime, doesn't she, Chaos? I guess Chaos had to split. So anyway, X-Man says she was in a airplane accident, or it might have been.
Yes, that's
right.
To be what happened.
And her brain survives, but they buried her body, I think is what it was, wasn't it? And that's why her mother kept going to that grave, I guess, and of course, Major Kusanagi would tell her, "You don't have to go there anymore," or something. I don't know if that's the way it is in the anime, but now she has a partner in the movie, and I think I saw some images of her partner, that blonde-haired guy that has those cybernetic eyes. Is that in the anime as well, Chaos?
Yeah, the animated film is a little bit different. In the animated film, she's not the only kind of cyborg that's almost all that way. Mm-hmm. In fact, in the animated film, there's more than one body that looks like her. So at one point when she's on a boat ride down the river, she looks at a store that has mannequins that look just like her. Because it's a type of model number that she's built on. So there's other ones that look just like her, not from any deliberate cloning like the Toon program in Alita. Just that it's like let's say there's a Toyota Camry, a 2004 Toyota Camry. Okay, And you see other 2004 Toyota Camrys because it's the same model.
Yes.
That kind of feeling, except it's people.
Oh, the same stock keeping unit. Okay. So anyway, yeah, we'll have to watch this Chaos. We'll have to watch Akira and this one, I guess, because I would like to see it.
We'll figure out a way.
Yeah, we'll do that. Sure. Well, I guess we can't stream it though, because that would be that'd be copyright, wouldn't it? So
right, but we'll just have a chat room like this while we're I'll have a watch room on Amazon so that it can be watched.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Because I have Amazon Prime, so okay. Any other thoughts? Angelus, have you seen Ghost in the Shell? Either one there's 2 seasons, I think, isn't there? Or is there 3? I can't remember.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Like ever since 2019, it's pretty much all been Alita. So
yes, pretty much with me too. Although I would say that image on the left, yep, got the big eyes. I love that. But that image on the left has got some ooh-woo. So, yeah, these artists, they like to give these anime girls ooh-woo, don't they? Yeah, that's just the way it is. Okay, Alejandro Camago says this anime is a very philosophical anime. Is that true? What is that your view of it as well, Chaos?
What?
It's a very philosophical anime.
Yeah, it is. It is very much so. Like I said, she's like a car model or series, so she's not unique in her appearance.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we'll watch that. I'd love to watch it. I'd love to watch Akira too. I've never seen that, so.
Yes, Akira. It's like 1988, but it's so detailed for illustrated animation.
Well, I know that Fist of the North Star was pretty good, and that's not in 1980s, wasn't it?
It's 1986.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was pretty good. So, yeah, you guys in the Alita Army are slowly but surely getting me into anime, I guess. So, all right. So, any more thoughts about Ghost in the Shell? Halo. Now, the one thing about Halo is that I think they've done a live action thing on this too, haven't they? And it's got a animated series, I guess. Because I've seen some clips on YouTube about this, but this guy here, the Master Sergeant, he is very much like Alita. And I know we've talked about this on prior streams, but you see the gun he's carrying, and even both on the right and the left, that is the same gun, because we compared them on one stream with the gun that Alita was holding when she was in the military, and her and that other cyborg were standing back to back shooting their weapons. The exact same gun. And the thing about this particular time frame here, it's roughly the same time in the 26th century as in Alita. Now it's definitely a different universe for sure, but the time frame on, I guess, of both the universes were about the same, perhaps, or at least kind of like in the Marvel world, different timelines, I guess. Maybe that's another way to look at it. So I think Alita, particularly, well, maybe not so much anime Alita or movie Alita, but I think manga Alita particularly would fit right in, particularly Martian Chronicles Alita, especially in Volume 7 when she's in the military. Oh, by the way, Angelus, I did get Volume 9 of Martian Chronicles.
Yeah.
Mars Chronicles. Yeah, Mars Chronicles, not Martian. Not to be confused with the series of the early 80s. So, but she would fit right in here, I guess, in her military body, and would probably fight with Master Sergeant, against, what was it called? The Covenant? Is that what it was called? The enemy?
The Covenant.
Okay, yeah, they were a race.
The Covenant and the Covenant was the ostensible enemy at first. But then it ultimately turned out that the Flood was a greater enemy. The Flood was the alien parasite things that like attach to a person's head and they become zombies.
Jesus, I didn't know that was in Halo.
You don't remember? Okay.
No.
Well, it's like around halfway through the game, you meet the Flood and you realize they're a worse
Yeah.
enemy than the Covenant is.
Well, if they're a worse enemy, they could probably kick the Covenant's butt, couldn't they?
Well, eventually it's everyone versus the Flood because the Flood are basically just taking over everything. The whole point in the Halo game is that the ring is meant to be a massive energy pulse that kills the Flood off so that there's only a few Flood left to stop them from destroying everything.
Wow.
And basically what you're looking at in the right picture is a big artificial planet created by this primitive alien that made the rings where they had a huge battle to try and destroy the Flood. It's basically it's a huge like half flat, half world that's bigger than Earth, that has more surface area than planet Earth outside of our galaxy. And that's not even the craziest thing. The craziest thing is they have a huge shell, like sphere around a sun, a star later on in Halo 4.
You mean like a Dyson sphere?
Yeah, a Dyson sphere, like in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Wow. Okay.
But
well, anyway, I think one thing about Master Chief here is he's one badass person, man. I mean, I think there was an episode or a segment or something where he was in training or something like this, and these three guys were trying to bully him or something, and he killed all three of them. And they didn't, take him into custody or jail him or put him in prison because they saw, his ability to fight. And I think that Covenant group, actually, he was so good at fighting, because he's a cyborg himself and he wears that suit, but he's so good.
Comparable to a Imperial Space Marine from Warhammer.
Yes.
40,000.
Yeah.
He has implants, and they also give him a lot of steroids.
Yeah, but the Covenant calls him the Demon.
The Demon,
yeah,
because but the Covenant also destroyed almost all the Spartans too. So he's like one of either the last one or only a few of them left.
Yeah. Well, I think Alita
they destroyed a planet with the Spartans on it.
Damn. But anyway, I think Alita would fit in here because she would recognize the threat that the enemy was posing to these guys, and she would fight right alongside Master Chief, I think. And in her berserker body, even, I think he would recognize that she would be a worthy, ally, because I mean, she's super fast. She can run near Mach 7. She has that plasma weapon. She knows how to handle firearms. I mean, she's pretty badass herself, and I think she would fit right into this world very, very easily, I think. Anyway, is that kind of how you guys see it?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I think I played the first version of this game back in the early 2000s, and it was very enjoyable. I mean, I sucked at it, but still. It was still enjoyable. But now I've seen a whole lot of short stories, I guess, are on YouTube with this. I haven't watched a series from start to finish.
They have had like Halo related materials. There was a thing on Netflix about the whole origin story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's still on there.
Well, you can see them on YouTube, though. It's definitely on YouTube. So, okay. So, any other thoughts about Halo? Because we're coming up on 2 hours here. I think
not from me because I've never played or even seen it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think
Alita.
Alita.
You can watch me play it eventually when I
Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
I have a few live streams for a while ago about me trying to play through it.
Yeah. I like watching those live streams when you play them when I get a chance to watch them. But Yeah, because
I'm working on Metal Gear Solid right now, though.
Well, Chaos, the reason why I like watching you play them is because when I play these games, I suck at it. I'm not real good. Now, there is a couple of games that I played that I am fairly good at, and that would be Duke Nukem. I was good at that game. That's an old game. And there was another game that came out in '96 called Eradicator, and I'm pretty good at that game, you know, but I played that a lot, you know. In terms of first-person shooters, that is. I mean, I have played other games like Age of Empires and stuff like that, but in terms of first-person shooters, I did play Halo. You know, I played that one time and enjoyed it, but I wasn't very good at it. So, oh, there was another game I played that was called Delta Force. That's a real old game too. Came out in the early.
That is old. It's like it's back when they had like this blocky polygon graphics, but you know, it's playing as the Special Forces unit.
Yeah. X-Man, I assume you're talking about Halo.
Yeah, actually, you know, the way it was with me is, you know, we'd waste my extended family and I would waste our Christmas break either playing that or the Lord of the Rings games, trying to finish them.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to, on Delta Force, I'd build levels. Well, I built levels on Duke Nukem and Eradicator as well, you know, and my nephews would always say they could tell it was a level I built because it always had a fort in it. So, but anyway, but I pretty much suck at these games. So anyway, that's just the way it is. I'm just not a big gamer, you know, but I do like watching other people play games. I've watched Angelus play on Discord one time. I watched him play Cyberpunk 2077. That was enjoyable, but I tell you, I would suck at that game too if I played it. So yeah, I think Alita and Master Chief here would get along very well. I think they'd consider each other, you know, valuable allies, I think. Now here's one I have seen a lot of, One Punch Man. It's you know, I guess you could say it's a superhero anime, but it's more of a parody, you know, than anything, because you have this thing called the Hero Association.
Well, yeah, that's true with My Hero Academia too, in a way. Oh,
I should have added that to this, although I don't know much about it.
Well, My Hero Academia is, you know, it's more comedy. It's very comedic, like One Punch Man, but it doesn't go to quite the dark levels as as a lot of them do.
Yeah,
it's just a kid who goes to the superhero school.
Yeah, but anyway, with One Punch Man, the bald-headed guy you see there, he's called Saitama. His name is Saitama. And he gets to this. It's really kind of funny when you think about his origin story or how he gets to this level. He gets to this level by doing 100 push-ups a day, running 10 miles a day, and eating bananas every day. Maybe that explains his yellow suit, maybe. But you know, he's incredibly overpowered. I mean, he's a lot like Goku is when Goku's like Super Saiyan 15 or something like that. And the way this thing works out a lot of times is all these heroes, and in One Punch Man, they have what's called the Hero Association. They have 4 levels or classes of heroes that start from Class C, goes to B, then A, and then Class S, which means superhero, you know. And you know, they fight this other group called the Monster Association. For the most part, there is a kind of a little exception to that, and that would be that character that's standing behind Saitama and Genos there. He was Lord Boros. He's a lot like Thanos. I'm sorry, Genos, yeah. But Lord Boros is a lot like Thanos, or say Darkseid. You know, he's trying to conquer the universe and stuff like that, and he's never met an equal until he meets Saitama. And actually, he's he's not Saitama's equal. But anyway, what happens a lot of times is these superheroes and some of these other class heroes will fight these monsters and they're getting their asses handed to them. And then One Punch Man shows up. He starts out as a class C hero because he scores super duper high on all the physical abilities, but he flunked, basically barely passes the written exam. In other words, the intelligence part of it, you know. But he'll show up and he finishes off these villains with one punch a lot of times, you know, and it's just like, you know, he's like, in one way he's kind of like Genos. Kind of like oh gosh, now I said Genos so much I can't think of the other guy's name, Goku. And he's always looking for a fight that gives him a challenge, you know, and he's never found one. So there was one episode where he fought the Sea King, and the Sea King just literally just kicks the crap out of all these heroes. He's threatening the population of the city. He really just about completely destroys Genos, who's the cyborg you see in that on the image on the right. And Saitama shows up and he sees Genos is in such a sad shape, and he says, "Genos, are you alive?" And Genos says, "Master." See, now Saitama is a class C hero when he starts out, and then Genos is a class S hero, but Genos recognizes Saitama's power, so he wants Saitama to train him, you know. But anyway, Saitama shows up and he says, "Okay, I got to take care of this sea freak," or whatever he called that Sea King monster. Thought that kind of insulted him, and he punched Saitama and did absolutely nothing to him. You know, he just punched him and he didn't even knock him down, or he didn't do anything. He just stood there and he looked at him. And he said, you know, the sea monster says, "Wow, you took one of my punches. You're not like the others." And Saitama says, "No, your punch, it's not that. Your punch just lacked power." You know, so he proceeds, you know, the Sea King proceeds to try to punch him again, and Saitama finishes him off with one punch, and the sea monster guy just explodes, you know, because he's got such a powerful punch. Now, where I think Alita would fit in here is I think her and Genos would form a friendship, you know, not necessarily a romantic one. Maybe they would. I think I've seen a couple of you know, fan art, you know, of Genos and Alita being, you know, kind of romantic with each other, you know, but I think they would be friends at the very least, you know, because they're both cyborgs, you know, and, you know, Saitama would be, Saitama would probably like Alita, but he would be, in some ways, he would be like Goku. He probably wouldn't pay much attention to her, you know, because I don't think he would view her as a threat, for one thing. And he's always looking for somebody that's a better fighter than him, and he never has found one. So now I hear that the third season, or is it the third season of this is coming out. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But he ends up fighting at the end of the first season. He ends up fighting that creature with the one eye in the middle there. His name's Lord Boros. He ends up fighting him. And it was a little bit of a tussle for him, but he basically finishes him off too, you know. So Alita would fit in here in that her and Genos would form a friendship. She probably would form friendships with some of the others in the Hero Association. But she probably wouldn't join it. But I think she would fit in because her powers would be on par with some of the, in her berserker body, her powers would be on par with some of the lower level S-class heroes. And certainly in her Imaginos body, she'd be up near the top, you know. So she'd be a lot like Saitama. So the Saitama would probably take note of her if, you know, she was in her Imaginos 2.1 body. So, but anyway, that's kind of how I see Alita here fitting in One Punch Man. So any thoughts, Angelus or Chaos?
I think it works. It's not quite the same tone. I mean, One Punch Man is very much satire. Like, it's basically, the biggest joke in the whole series is about, you know, Saitama is like supposed to be the best fighter, but he's terrible at everything else. He can't even cook his meals.
Yeah, that's right. He's horrible. That's right.
It's a running joke that he can't cook.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And what's funny about him too, there was another fight scene where he had this one. There was this one monster that this scientist had created, and he was trying to corner One Punch Man, and One Punch Man realizes that it's a sale day at the grocery store. And at first, he's just kind of messing around, and he remembers, oh my God, there's a big sale at the grocery store today. And he punches this monster, and the monster explodes. And then he punches through the wall and he goes running off to the grocery store. So it's really full of that kind of humor, in it, where he's really, him finishing off these villains is like an afterthought to him, He just really is, because he can't find an equal, for one thing, in terms of physical ability, Yeah, I think Alita and Genos would form a pretty good pair, I think. What do you think, Angelus?
I'm too invested in Alita to watch
Yeah.
too much more anime. As good as it might be, I'm just way too invested in Alita's.
Yes. Plus, Genos would have to get by you, wouldn't he, to get to Alita, wouldn't he?
Not that I'd last long, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of images where Genos and Alita are kind of, they're one of them was Alita sitting in his lap or something like that, and they're just forming a little heart shape with their hands, stuff like that, So anyway, not that Genos is, he's not predisposed to that. At least I haven't seen any. Now, Saitama does, I guess once he fights this character called Tatsumaki. And
I'm
Tatsumaki.
sorry, I gotta be heading up, but you have a good night.
All right, we'll see you.
Take
So
care.
he fights Tatsumaki, and she's kind of a green-haired girl. She's a little girl, but she's cute, but she's like a lot really powerful, she's a Esper, she has telekinesis, and she's just ridiculously powerful. And she fights Saitama because she thinks Saitama is messing around with her little sister called Fubuki. And Fubuki is a Class A hero, and it is the little sister of Tatsumaki. So anyway, they had like a long fight in which really Saitama wasn't fighting her, but Tatsumaki was doing things like throwing him through mountains, crashing all big boulders on top of him, kind of pushing him down, into the earth, stuff like that. And, finally she just gins up this tornado, because that's one of her things. She's terrible tornado is one of her names. And it has no effect on Saitama whatsoever. And she keeps fighting until Tatsumaki just gets tired. She can't fight anymore. She's used up all her power almost. And Saitama comes over to her and says, "Are you all right? You shouldn't be fighting like that when you've expended so much energy." And it kind of pisses her off a little bit, but she gets respect for him at that point, So, but I think what Chaos said about One Punch Man, this is more of a satirical thing. So, but I do think Alita could fit into this universe, particularly with Genos in there, because they're very much alike in a lot of ways, So anyway, any thoughts about this one, Angelus?
Only that Alita is so influential that Janus is my favorite character purely because he's a cyborg. So
yes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, that's kind of what I had. I think Chaos mentioned one anime that I didn't have up there that because I don't know about it. I've heard of it, was Akira, and I do want to see that. I've heard that's pretty good, So, but I haven't seen any of it. So, don't know anything about it. That's why I didn't put it in there. But Angelus, is there any anime that you know of that maybe we could just briefly see how, talk about how Alita would fit into that particular world?
Not particularly. Like, I did suggest a few in DMs, but that's more like various aesthetics that I've noticed because I know of Alita. And even then, it's like, while you could have an Alita-like character in that world, I don't feel that Alita would be suited for that world story-wise. So, yeah.
Well, what's this Robotech? What's that anime about? Because I know nothing.
Well, essentially,
about
the technology in that is that the power source provides like a bit of a like a biological link between the machine and pilot, essentially. And in doing so, it's like I guess a race car driver, if you will. Like you'd be able to react faster, like more sooner, more sharply, more better in every aspect of it. So there's that one. The other one that I had was Mobile Suit Gundam, and that's more because of funnily enough, when they started to colonize Mars and other planets, the humans that were born in space, as opposed to humans that were born on Earth, started developing again different biological aspects that made them, I guess, better suited for combat and Gundam piloting sort of thing.
that character that in that image you sent on that Mobile Suit Gundam, that looks like Optimus Prime almost.
Again, there's definitely different aesthetic values of it for sure.
Yeah. And I guess there was an animated series on what is it, the guys that fought the Decepticons, and what was that called?
Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers. Yeah, that they're more like robots, so they're not androids. So, but they're kind of like those big Gundam type things too, right? So
yes.
And I do.
I don't know in which direction, but one probably got influence from the other, just as Kashira got influence from other works.
Yeah, because I remember seeing one image where Optimus Prime was out in the Badlands, and Alita is standing on his shoulder, and they're looking out across the Badlands or something. She had the Damascus blade or something like that with her, and it's like they were, teaming up to do something, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's about all I can think of, Angelus, unless you can think of anything. Did we miss anything?
No, just missing Alita's Uru and her sequels.
Well, Alejandro Camago, it's good to see you back too, Alejandro. Ergo Proxy, Violet Evergreen, and Blame. I've never heard of those. I mean, once again, I'm not a big anime, I don't watch a lot of anime. And of course, here, Justifan mentions Nimona. It's kind of like technology like Alita's doll body, but they have plasma swords, crossbows, and cannons. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that anime either. So, yeah, the folks in the Alita Army are bringing the Creek into anime, kicking and screaming. I guess that's the way that works. So,
in between lifting.
Yes, in between lifting, right, and watching Alita. So, yeah, a lot of times I get on the airplane when I fly back to North Carolina. I watch Alita on my laptop. So, because it's over a 2-hour flight, so it's perfect. Okay.
As a
Yeah,
side
go-
note, I was watching Alita on my Disney Plus app on my iPhone, and one of the co-workers sort of heard it and said, "Oh, I like that movie. It's not too bad," sort of thing. So,
Oh,
you
nice.
know, you really never know when, you might be casually doing something Alita related and you don't even think about it, but people will notice because, people are like, because of our efforts, they're starting to sort of, so that's what Alita's all about. And
Yeah.
that's what the Alita army's all about. So,
Yes. Well, we
all
got
those articles that speak
yeah.
about us and Alita, people are starting to actually start taking notes. So,
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, I know we got over 178,000 signatures on that sequel petition, but think of all the people that like the person that was at your office, or wherever you were watching that on your iPhone, and they say, "Oh, I like that movie." Now that individual probably is not the Alita Army, but they like the movie, and if a sequel comes out, they're going to go watch it. So I would
Yep.
dare say that 178,000 people that would watch a sequel is probably a low number. I think it would probably be much more than that because, a lot of folks aren't diehards like we are, but they would love to see a sequel. They love the movie, So anyway. And it's basically Nimona. He says basically upon tearing down a corrupt government and using the past to distort and control the public. Oh, all right. Sounds like a lot of governments want to do that to a degree. So anyway. So did we miss anything, Angelus?
No, I didn't think so.
Well, as you can see there in that middle image there, Alita loves her Uncle Creek. And if you have any problems with that, there you go. That's what you got to contend with. And there's our queen right there. That's in the Creek's book. She's number one, man, in terms of being an actress or actor, as Maxie would say. Maxie corrects me on that sometimes, but she's great, And of course, I want to give a shout out to Elle Lamont and Jesse Fisher. They brought Screwhead to life, and we want Screwhead back in the sequel. We want to see Screwhead team up with Alita and be on Alita's motorball team and take on Joshigan. That's what we want to see. So all three of these ladies are really good at what they do. Certainly Rosa and Elle are real good as actresses, and Jessie is a really good stunt woman, So as Elle said, she's the most badass stunt woman she ever worked with, So that's pretty good praise right there. And of course, as Creek says every week, it sure don't hurt that they're pretty, because they are, in addition to being good at what they're doing. So, okay, so you're going to be there tomorrow, right, Angelus?
Yes.
Are you the host, or is because I haven't looked at the show notes since I put this up?
I don't know, but if Maxie's unavailable, I'm definitely up for it.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to talk about manga fans, movie fans, and probably manga and anime fans are similar, and movie fans, because there are differences, I don't think there's going to be much of a gap to bridge between us, because whether you love the manga more in the movie or the movie more in the manga, you still love Alita. So I don't know if we're going to have a very long stream tomorrow, actually, because, but there are differences, and we need to talk about them, because, sometimes when movies come out and they don't match the source material, some folks get pissed off about it, so we'll probably talk about some of that tomorrow too. And I'm going to be the stream manager until probably, Tony gets some things squared away there. He's got some obligations that he's, having to take care of there. So anyway, and he'll probably be able to take on a little bit more in November, I guess. So, but it doesn't matter. The Creek loves doing these streams anyway. So, okay. Any last thoughts there, Angelus?
Viva Alita.
That's it, man. You heard it. Okay, why is this image here? Well, that image is there because I like it. The creek is running the stream, and that's why that image. And man, I mean, there's not only some serious power there in that image, but there's some serious ooh-woo in there too, isn't there, Angelus? So there you have it. And to paraphrase Grishka, I'm only here for our girl. Alita is our girl. And the Alita Army. And of course, all of us in the Alita Army are only here for our girl. So, Angelus, unless there's any last, ultra last thoughts that you have, I guess we can kind of bring it to a close.
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right, then, on my count of 3, I guess we'll do the call to action. 1, 2, 3.
Film
Film
those
those sequels,
baby.
baby. So anyway, that was good this time. Of course, there's only 2 of us. So anyway, we'll see you tomorrow on the Radio Chaos stream. We'll see you next weekend on the Alita live stream. So good day and good night.
See ya.